Many times you run into a situation when you want to try out something in Angular and you need some sort of services or HTTP services for that. It might be annoying that every time you need to create some sort of HTTP service for that. Rather than creating actual HTTP service, we will create some sort of mock HTTP service for that. There are several options available for that. Either you can use the JSON server, which needs little bit more configuration, or you can use Angular in-memory web API for that. So in this tutorial, we are going to see how we can create our mock REST APIs with Angular in-memory web API. If you find this tutorial helpful, then please hit that like button. Hey there everyone, it's Ravindra here. So let's get started. So first thing we need to do, we need to install a package for that. So let's open the terminal and press Ctrl backtick. Now just type here npm install -D. We are going to install it as a dev dependency, and just write this angular -in -memory -web API. So press enter and it will install this package for us. Okay, now we have installed our package. So next thing we need to do, we need some kind of interface for interacting with database. So we are going to create one. So type here ng interface, and it will be models. Models is the folder name, and it will be user. So it will create a user interface inside the model folder. So let me expand this and let's see. Okay, here we have this. We'll assign some properties here. So first thing will be ID, type of number, name, string, and email, which will also be string. That's fine. Now we need to create a class here. So we will create a class inside the app folder. So just type here ng class mock data. So it will create a class for us inside this app folder. Okay, now we need to find where it is. Okay, mock, it should be somewhere here. Yeah, here. So I'm deleting this spect.ts file because we do not need it. Okay, now we have this class here. So we need to implement a class here, implements idb service. Press Ctrl dot, and I guess it is in memory db service. Okay, so it is not refactoring anything for us. So let's type here manually. Let's type here import in memory db service from Angular in memory web API. Now it is yelling at me. Let me see what it is telling. Press Ctrl dot here, and it is showing us to quick fix implement interface iMemory DB service. Press click here. So it has implemented this method for us. Okay, what we are going to do right now, we can remove all of this if we want. So first thing first, we need to create an array here. So users equals to, let's create some data here. Okay, ID, and type here user. Okay, now ID 1, name John, email which will be john@gmail.com. Second will be Jane @yahoo.com, rediff.com, and it will be, let's just see, Kane. Okay, John, Jane, Kane. Nice rhyming. Okay, now we need to return an object from here. So like this. Okay, fine. Okay, now let's save it. Let's see. Let's go here inside app module. Here, not here. Here it is. Okay, so first thing we need to import that mock data. Okay, now we need to import one more thing, actually two more things. First one will be http client http client module, and it resides inside the angular /common/http. Okay, now we need to import one more thing here, that we need to import from Angular in memory web API, and it will be Angular, what it was in memory. Well, let me see here what it was. And it is not here, actually it is this http client in memory web API module from here. Now go here and type here http client module, refine, and type this one, type for root, and we are going to configure it. So type here mock data, and we need some kind of delay mechanism for it. So it will be not this, actually it should be something like this, delay 500. Okay, I guess we are fine. Now let's close this guy and let's create a service for consuming these APIs. So type here nggs, and let's see where we can do this. So we will create it inside services folder. It will be user mock. Press enter, and it will create a service for us here. So we need to wait for it. Okay, it has done. So let's delete this testing file. Now we are here, so it will be our URL. Just type here base URL equals to API/users. Let me see what we had defined here. So it was users, so we need to define the same name here. Okay, now it is our base URL. Let's inject http client or private http http client, press control dot. Okay, now let's define here get. Okay, get users equals to this. It will return this dot http dot get user base URL, this dot base URL. I guess we are fine here, so we can create another get user by ID. We need to pass ID here, which will be type of number, and just we will, okay, let's do it like this. We are going to use these backticks here and here, this and here ID. I guess we are fine now. So it is our get by ID methods. First we will test this method, then we will move further. So let's create a component for that. nggc components slash in memory API. Let's just see what should we name it. In memory web API test demo will be fine. Okay, so it is going to install these things here. Okay, so we are fine. So let's delete this testing file. And one thing we can do here right now, first thing is just open this guy. Now open this thing here and copy this thing. Okay, sorry, wrong one. Here, this one. So we need this selector here, and we are going to call it inside the app component. So just type it here and press enter. Okay, so this is it. Let's close this. Let's close this also, and here. Okay, so where it is? Yeah, here. So we are gonna call these things here. So private http and sorry, not http, user mock, sorry, user service, user mock service. And inside this constructor we can call this dot user service dot get users dot subscribe. Next, console dot log d and error. Console dot log er. Okay, so let's copy this thing and just type here load users. Now we can call this dot load users here, and let's run this project. Let me see. Yeah, it is running. So I can simply type here localhost 4200, inspect element, and let's see here in the console. Here in the console we are seeing the array of 3 things that we have created. It means we are doing absolutely fine. Okay, so if I copy this guy and paste it here just below it, load user by ID, and let's provide ID here, ID number, get user by ID, and let's call this guy load user by ID 2. So let's see. Okay, it is giving us error, API / user / ID not found. Okay, let's just see what is happening here. We are missing this dollar. Still error. It is saying API / user / 2. And what can be problem here? This might be a problem. I have defined there an array. Okay, still error. See, here was defined an array before, but we do not need array. Whether it's a problem or not, it will certainly going to be a problem in future. So let's see error message. It is saying users with ID equals to 2 not found. It means here ID 2 and 3. Okay, so I guess we are absolutely good now. Fine, very fine. So we have done it right now. So let's create some other services. Like we can create here the add user, which will be type of user, and it will return. Okay, sorry, it should not be here, it should be here. Add user equals to this, and it is an arrow operator. It will return this dot http dot post user, this dot base URL dot data, means user. So it is going to be our add user. Let's change it to update user. Rather than post, we will type here put, and it is not going to return us anything, so I'm writing here any. Okay, and one last thing, which will be delete. So let's try here delete user. Here should be delete, and do not need, we need ID here, number. Okay, so we need to do same thing here like this. Okay, so it is our add, update, delete, get user by ID. So we have created every service. We can just call here the add user method. So let's just create this add user, and let's define some dummy data here. So let's const user equals to id 4, name equals to Mike, and email equals to mike@xyz.com. so let's call the service here this dot user service dot add user. Just type here user dot subscribe. On next, pass here the data console.log added a new user. Okay, and let's copy this error section here. Okay, we can create another method like this update, and we need an ID here just for the testing purpose. ID number. Okay, rather than passing 4 here, we will pass this ID here. And let me see why it is yelling at me. Okay, so let's do it again. ID number. Rather than passing 4 here, we will pass an ID. Okay. So where is our update user? It is here. So it should be like this. Update user. And ID will be user.id. So it can be update user put method. So here we can pass updated user with ID. Okay, so we can do this here. And after updating this, we can also call here this dot load users, and after adding, we will simply call this dot load user, and let's do the same thing. So let's create a delete user method. Just type here delete user. We'll pass an ID here, number, this dot delete user, ID. Okay, this dot user service dot delete user dot ID dot subscribe, and in subscribe let's copy these things again. We don't want to type again and again. Okay, so here deleted user with ID this, and we are going to load users again. Okay, everything seems fine. So let's comment this guy. So first let's load all the users. Load users. Let's see what is happening here. So here it is giving us 3 array. So this dot add user. So let's type and add one user again. So now when we have added a user, it is giving us the array of 4 elements. So this is the user we have added, Mike. Okay, you can see it here, I guess here we have added this user. Okay, so let's type here this user going to add in database. Okay, so everything is working fine. So now let's try to update the user, this dot update user, and let's try to update user with id 2. Let's see what will happen, and let's see what we are going to update. So first of all, we need to see what is user 2. User 2 was Jane at yahoo.com. So go there, name is Jane 11, and its email would be Jane11 at yahoo.com. So let's see, first we have this amount of data, now we have this amount of data, and actually it is running concurrently, so it has already updated this one. So we can see, first let's not add a user here, just trying to update only. So let's see, here we have these 3 records, John, Jane, Kane. We have updated the user. Now second user is Jane11 and its id is Jane11 at yahoo.com. So here this is done. Now let's try to delete a user. So let's try to delete the user 2. Let's see, is it happening or not. Okay, so now we have deleted one user. Here we have 0, 1, 2, and we have deleted Zane here. So we have 1 and 3. So that was it. So that's it for today. Make sure to like and subscribe. I will see you next time.